Bombshell from Seymour Hersh comes out with this leaving Las Vegas piece talking about Joe Biden and how the Obamas and Pelosi and Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries basically forced the old guy out, that he didn't step aside because he wanted to step aside. He stepped aside because they threatened him with invoking the 25th Amendment. Here's part of the article. He also says that Joe Biden, according to his sources, didn't even have COVID. It was a different medical emergency, and that they covered it up by calling it COVID. But he says on Monday, July 15th, Biden took off on Air Force One on a campaign trip to Nevada, a toss-up state that Biden won in 2020 by a little more than 30,000 votes. On Tuesday, he gave the keynote address to 5,000 members of the NAACP at its annual convention. The next day, the president, apparently stricken while campaigning with a yet-to-be-revealed illness, broke from his schedule and made a police escort race to Air Force One after initially telling police they were heading to the nearest emergency room. So something happened with Biden that they thought they needed to go to the emergency room, and they were doing like a sprint to the ER, and then they ended up detouring and saying, no, we're going to Air Force One instead. A series of blog posts, local police reports, internet messages, and reports in the Daily Mail disclosed further details of Biden's trip to Las Vegas and his abrupt return home to Delaware. I went over these reports this week with a senior official in Washington who helped me fashion an account of the White House in complete disarray, culminating in the president's withdrawal from the race. It's a story not unlike 7 Days in May, the Cold War thriller in which the colonel, played by Kirk Douglas, foils a coup staged by a general, played by Burt Lancaster. None of what you read below comes from an official account by the White House. So this is all stories that have been pieced together. At this point, according to Emily Gooden, a Daily Mail reporter who was in the traveling press pool, the president was deathly pale, and Air Force One flew at maximum speed to Delaware, where the president has a weekend retreat at Rehoboth Beach. The press pool was told that Biden had COVID. Nothing more was said on Air Force One. After Biden's return to Delaware, the White House told the public that Biden had contracted a COVID infection and would be in isolation. He was said to have upper respiratory symptoms, a runny nose, a cough, and was fatigued. That was the last straw for a core group of congressional leaders, government officials, and some senior Biden funders who were withholding huge amounts of committed contributions. There was pressure on donors to come across on their pending commitments. The official told me it was understood that Biden had a physical problem in Las Vegas, and the family was saying no to continued pressure from donors and senior Democrats in Congress to withdraw from the presidential campaign. Initially, the president could not be reached. By Saturday, July 20th, former President Barack Obama was deeply involved, and there was talk that he would place a call to Biden. It was not clear whether Biden had been examined or just what happened to him in Las Vegas. The big three, the official said, referring to Pelosi, Charles Schumer, and Hakeem Jeffries, continued to be directly involved. On Sunday morning, the official told me, with the approval of Pelosi and Schumer, Obama called Biden after breakfast and said, here's the deal. We have Kamala's approval to invoke the 25th Amendment. The amendment provides that when the president is determined by the vice president and others to be unfit to carry out the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall assume those duties. So Kamala Harris had given the green light of, okay, fine, I'll support you in invoking the 25th Amendment. So they called Biden and they threatened the old guy, and they said, you have to step aside. Now, what I'm also wondering is if Kamala used that and said, and I'm going to be the nominee. If you want me to do this, I'm the nominee. And that's it. That's how this is going to be. It's the Biden-Harris administration. We at least continue the Biden-Harris administration through Kamala Harris. She gets to be president, and this whole thing. But they lie to us. They don't tell us anything. They make it all up. They have no respect for us. They have no respect for our intelligence. They don't want to tell us the truth about anything. But this story is highly believable. I'm sure, Biden was definitely not wanting to step aside. He was very much, defiant about it. He wanted to continue on. His family wanted to continue on. So this is highly, highly believable. Hey guys, this was just a clip of a longer show. Catch the full show by going to KimIversonShow.com. It is free. It airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You could go back now and watch this full interview. I highly recommend it. Again, go to KimIversonShow.com. Thank you so much for watching.